yeah, what I'm going to do is show you what I left the UK for. And while I'm down here, I thought I'd come down to my nature reserve, which is my favourite place to walk and talk. So my videos generally is, it says it at the beginning of every single episode, is my video diary. And I normally make 2 or 3 videos a week, and I normally just vent and I talk about what I'm doing, what's happened, what I plan to do, how I'm feeling, where I've been, which is never very far. Seems I don't really leave my little bit of property. So basically I've got a little property in the southwest of France, which I paid 20,000 euros for. It was on the market for 6 or 7 years. And when I looked at it, it was for sale for 33,000 euros. And when I was told it had sat empty and abandoned for 7 years, I offered half. I offered 16.5 grand, and they said no. Shock. But they came back to me and they said, but they will accept 20. And I said, okay, I'll buy it. And that was in 2018. So I bought this property really as a hobby. Where I was living in the UK, I was renting. I didn't have space for a classic car or something like that. I had no storage space. I didn't have my own garden to play in. And I naively thought if I bought a place in France, I could have all those things and just visit when I felt like it. I could just fly over from the UK. I lived a £3 bus ride from the airport, so I could get a cheap flight into France from the local airport. I could get a flight for about 10 or 15 pounds, come over to France, play in the garden, and then fly back and go back to work. That's what I thought I would do. It didn't quite work out like that. It didn't quite go to plan for numerous reasons. And then I did that for a couple of years. I flew backwards and forwards. Like it was my hobby house. That's what it was. That's what I bought it for. And then certain situation arose around 2020, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, which meant that travelling anywhere, especially leaving the country, became very, very difficult, if not impossible. So I did learn a lot through that period. I'm not going to talk about it in this video. Suffice to say, I kind of realised that living on an island probably wasn't for me anymore. And the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say, was my landlord putting up my rent by 10%. And when he did that, I realised that, yeah, I definitely didn't want to live on an island anymore, because all I saw was rent rises for the foreseeable, and I was working for myself, and my income was kind of restricted by the amount of work I was able to do. So yeah, come 2022, March 2022, I packed all my stuff. I'd sold a lot of my belongings, and what I couldn't sell and what I didn't need I got rid of, I gave away. And I drove over. If you look at my very, very first video, it's of me leaving the UK with my car and trailer and all my belongings, whatever I had, all packed up. And I drove down, got the ferry, and then drove to France. By that time, I'd had this house over 3 years, and all I'd been doing was visiting 2 or 3 times a year during that period when you weren't allowed to travel, really, without good reason. And after that, I think I drove down once, and I bought some bits and pieces down, some furniture. So yeah, what I thought I'd do is just show you around, show you what I've got, and yeah, have a look. So while I'm down here, I'll show you this first. This is my, I call it a nature reserve. It's just a 1 acre field, which has a stream running through the middle of it, I should say. And it's my go-to place where I need a bit of peace and quiet. And it's just absolutely to die for me down here. And there's a little pond over in the corner there. So I'm hoping the sound is going to be better in this video than it was in my last video. I've changed the microphone. Hopefully, when I come to do the edit, the sound is okay. So this is just a little field that's off of my little nature reserve that I've got. This is about 1/4 of an acre, and I do like to keep it nice and tidy. I came down yesterday with my lawnmower, and I've got about 2/3 of it mowed, and I'll leave this half here for wild flowers and whatnot. I'm in the process of replacing the fencing all around the property, which is a huge job and yeah, quite expensive. So next to the little field is my main field. This is a just basically a 1 acre paddock, and I've managed to keep half. Oh, there's a hare. Can you see that hare running down? There's a hare running down the middle of the field, running straight towards me. He's like, who's that bloke with the white hat? That was quite funny. Glad I got that on camera. So yeah, this is a 1 acre field, and I came through yesterday or the day before with my lawnmower, and I've cut a wiggly path through the middle of the long grass. And I try and look after this as best I can. I'm a bit of a neat freak when it comes to lawns, and half of it's mown, and as you can see, half of it's not. So this is a 1 acre field, and not sure what I'm going to do with it. I'm busy tidying it up, and I've been busy tidying it up since I've owned the property. Got some trees to come down, and as I say, I'm doing some fencing. So this is 1 acre. Got a quarter acre little field there, and my 1 acre nature reserve. So all in all, I've got just under 3 acres, or maybe just over 3 acres, not sure, can't remember. And basically what I bought was, I bought a little cottage with 3 rooms, which was, well, the actual structure of the house, not too bad, decent roof, had an extension built on the back about 20 years ago. I think the roof was about 20 years old, and the extension was about 20 years old. And yeah, the bathroom's in the extension, and I've been busy turning the house. If you watch any of my previous videos, you'll see that I'm turning the house into a bit of a tiny house, because I think that's the future. That's the future for single person living. I think, yeah, making the house as economic as possible, or cheap to run as possible, I should say. So yeah, this is my main field, which not really sure what I'm going to do with it. Not really sure what I'm doing with a lot of the property actually. That there is a shelter that I built for a pony that used to be. Anyway, it's in lots of old videos. You just have to go back. But there was a pony that lived nearby, and I built him a shelter to get out of the scorching summer sun. Now next to my big field is an old orchard. Now this is about a quarter of an acre, and I've been busy fencing it off, and I managed to get it all done during last year. So this is completely fenced, and that's a huge cherry tree. There's loads of work to do on trees here, and I've got 3 or 4 apple trees, and this is my little piece of heaven as well, really. And I fenced it off because I thought I was going to get a dog. And in the corner of the orchard is a chicken run, which I built. This was all seriously overgrown when I first bought the place, and yeah, you couldn't actually get in here, and I wasn't actually sure that there was any apple trees in here when I bought the place. This is my old woodshed, which I have been restocking. It is kind of derelict, and it looks like it wants to fall down. And I don't actually burn any wood anymore, but that doesn't stop me from saving it every time I bring a tree down or tidy up some logs. There's some logs in here that have fallen out of trees that need to be cut up. And yeah, as I say, this is my chicken run that I built. I think it's about 60 feet long, something like that. And I did do, as I say, if you look back on my old videos, you see what I've been up to. But I did have to do a bit of a renovation of the chicken coop, which is kind of finished, ready for chickens. Yeah, and it's come out really, really well compared to what it looked like when I first arrived. So the house itself sits on about a quarter of an acre, and it's got quite a beautiful sized garden. This garden was a complete disaster when I first bought the property. And yeah, I've just spent, well, months and months and months, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know all about it, turning it into a garden. And gardens is where my passion is, really. It's my hobby. And in the UK, it was my job. I used to look after people's gardens. I had 25 customers in the UK, and I missed them very, very dearly, actually. They were like good friends of mine. And yeah, a few of them died They were mainly elderly, and a few of them died during the situation I was talking about earlier. After, you know, won't go into that. Anyway, so I saw a situation arising in the UK that, yeah, I could see all my customers dying actually, being that they were elderly, and it was quite horrific to be part of and watch. So yeah, this is my garden, and this is where I sort of spend most of my time. So I'm constantly playing with new ideas. I've got a vegetable patch. I've got serious food issues, which, yeah, are causing me all sorts of health issues. So some things I can't eat, and it doesn't make me feel like growing them. And yeah, as I say, I've just been tidying it up over the past few years. This piece of land here, in front of the barn, I didn't actually own that. I bought that piece of land separately for €100, and yeah, that was completely overgrown. So anyway, I thought I would just sort of introduce me and my channel. My name is Mark. I should have said that at the beginning, shouldn't I? I'm a 52-year-old single white male, and yeah, a very hyperactive single white male with a touch of autism and extreme ADHD sometimes, every day. Anyway, thought I'd just introduce my property to you, and yeah, say hello to all my new subscribers. If you're interested in watching what I'm getting up to, yeah, watch out for more videos. As I say, normally 2 or 3 a week. See you later.